Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will be learning how to paint a Swiss roll. Before we begin, I just wanted to show you guys how to go about sketching the Swiss roll. One method I see a lot is to draw a circle and add some depth to the Swiss roll like I am doing now. Although this doesn't look too bad, there is a way that you can make the Swiss roll look a little bit more realistic. To do so, we have to think of the Swiss roll as a 3D object. Now, drilling back to the basics, I am first drawing a rectangle, and that will represent the thickness of the slice. We want to be able to simplify the Swiss roll in terms of its most basic shapes, and here we are breaking it down to a rectangular prism as the first step. Only after you get the rectangular prism correctly can you turn this into a more cylindrical shape like I am doing now. The angles and the planes in which you are drawing this cylindrical or rectangular prism shape onto is very key. So now you can see through this example that this Swiss roll looks a lot more realistic and more 3D. I want you guys to keep this in mind as we now move on to the next step of sketching our Swiss roll onto the watercolor paper. I'm just gently sketching the Swiss roll using my watercolor pencil, keeping in mind the rectangular prism shape as discussed earlier. As you can see, I have gently sketched out some lines for the planes and the angles of the underlying rectangular prism. And this will definitely help me to make the Swiss roll look a little bit more real. Remember that during the sketching step, we are gently sketching out the outlines. If you find yourself pressing too hard with your pencil, it's definitely okay, as you can just erase the lines faintly as I did so. Now we're going to move on to apply our first layer of base color. To color the Swiss roll, I am mixing in yellow ochre and any shade of yellow paint. And I will gently spread this color across all the areas of the Swiss roll. Give this area a little bit time to dry, and in the meantime, I will switch over to a smaller size paintbrush and paint the strawberry. Mix together orange paint and cadmium red and also a bit of water, and apply this light mixture to the strawberry areas. Now we're going to add on another layer of paint onto the Swiss roll areas. And to make the yellow-orange color darker, I am just mixing in a little bit of the cadmium red mixture we used for the strawberry earlier. And slowly you will build up the layers in this area as I am doing now, keeping in mind that the planes of the underlying rectangular prism shape is still there. So you can see how I've applied this on the top area of the Swiss roll. The strawberries inside the filling are going to seep some color through to the cream. So that's why I'm adding in a very faint layer of cadmium red mixture around the strawberry filling. Using that same color, I'm going to gently outline the cream on top of the Swiss roll. Now we're going to move on to make the top area of the Swiss roll darker. And to do so, I'm just adding burnt sienna into the color mixture and starting out to outline the Swiss roll shape as I'm doing now. and I'm just going to gently apply this color of paint over the top area. We want to distinguish the top area of the Swiss roll from the inside of the Swiss roll. And to do so, I've added more of a rose color and burnt sienna to make the outline on this top part of the Swiss roll a little bit darker. For my style of painting, or this particular style of painting, I don't prefer to outline it too dark, so just be careful when you're outlining to not overuse this darker color. We're also going to add more color or contrast onto the strawberry, and to do so, I'm using a darker red color, and that's through mixing in rose color and cadmium red. And we're going to take a similar approach to the Swiss roll by outlining it first and then dabbing more of this darker color onto the strawberry areas. I'm adding in more burnt sienna to darken up the top part of the Swiss roll again. Similar to the strawberry on top, we are going to use the darker red color mixture and do the same thing for the strawberries in the filling. I'm now mixing together burnt sienna and a rose color paint to gently outline the top part of the Swiss roll again, and you'll find that doing so will add a little bit more contrast to the painting. In the next step, we will add more details to the inside of the Swiss roll. And to fill in those little air pockets, we're going to mix together ultramarine blue and what we have already on our palette for the Swiss roll color. And you're just going to gently dab random shapes onto this area to make it look like the air bubbles. Try not to do too many of these details, otherwise it will overwhelm the Swiss roll and it will look a little bit messy. So what I like to do is to take the darker color and use it more around where the shade areas are. And for the lighter areas, I would just leave it be with no air bubble details. Mix a little bit of ultramarine blue with a strawberry color mixture, and we're going to lightly outline the cream on top of the Swiss roll. In the last few steps, we're just going to make the cream filling a little bit darker with a light pink, and we will also add another color onto the strawberry leaves. And now we're all done. Thanks for watching.